Hello everybody, it's Randy here, back for week number 9 of the Pokemon Global Battle League. This week we're taking on Leo, 6'4" hacks, coach of the Durham Druddigons. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, you're probably lost on YouTube, so not much of an explanation. He's one of the original guys who does battles, very awesome person. Didn't really get to, I didn't really know him much before the D League. I did know of his stuff, but I didn't really get to actually know him until we joined the GBA D League. So that's pretty cool to get to know. How he is. Great battler, of course. He's beaten me twice, obviously. We faced twice in the GBA D League. Of course, last time he faced off was in the GBA D League World Championship game. So we're looking to get some revenge, but, even if we do win, it's not really revenge because he ended up winning the title. But, just getting a win off him would be nice because I want to kind of break this curse. I'm thinking to myself, maybe I just can't beat Leo. Is that one guy I can't beat. But, of course, it's a new season, new Mons. We've played quite a bit already, so we're kind of understanding how we play a little bit. He's probably expecting me to play a little bit, safe and bring the more obvious kind of things, but that's not really how I roll when it comes to builds. So shout out, of course, to Aaron Barden of the front office for building the squad. But just a quick note, Aaron Barden is trash at Pokemon. He's a bad player. He's awful. But he's a great builder, so I gotta respect that. I'm just kidding. I don't really like calling people bad, but him I call bad because he's bad. But anyway, so Leo's team consists of Mega Diancie, Zygarde 50%, which is one of my Z-move users, Infernape, Scolipede, which is his other Z-move user, Snorlax, Necrozma, Sneasel, Serena, Klefki, and Vaporeon. So, pretty interesting squad. Obviously, the main threats, Snorlax, I don't really want to see that again. I mean, it's such an annoying Pokemon to deal with. I play a lot of VGC, so it's annoying there, and it's annoying in singles as well. It's a little bit easier to manage in singles, but, It's still an annoying piece of crap. I hate facing it. I personally don't really like using it because I don't know how to use stuff like that. Slow mons at bulk. Kind of stuff like that. I feel like I would kind of mess it up. I just feel like, Scolipede tears through my squad, the squad that I bring this week specifically. Not to my team, in general, because I have Trick Room, but like just into my composition I brought today, it's a little bit weak to it. Diancie don't really fear Diancie coming this week. Zygarde is the one mon I for sure, my builder, he wasn't afraid coming because of what I had. And it was kind of a risky bring given what I brought. But it ended up working out, I think. I hope, because, either if it doesn't work out or it does work out if Zygarde comes. But he really didn't expect Zygarde to come. That's why the build is the way it was. Sneasel, of course, is, it's one of those mons that's kind of on the fence because I have stuff like Mega Cam. I have stuff like Araquanid. Well, not really Araquanid, but Hariyama. I guess, excuse me, I don't know. I guess it's kind of on the fence. Like, it could come, but at the same time, it could easily just be like a sack because of my Trick Room offense, like Hammer Up and Hariyama and stuff like Drampa and Trick Room could also mess him up and stuff like that. Even Araquanid. So, it's one of those mons that I feel like could come, maybe might not come. Maybe perhaps like a Scarf set to check the Thundurus. I'm not sure, but we don't know. Actually, I think it's already faster than Thundurus. I don't know the speed tier on that. I don't think it is. But anyways, Snorlax is an annoying piece of crap because in Trick Room he could probably take advantage of it and straight out like run belly drum because like it could probably set up on Mew depending on what my set will be, or he could probably set up on even my Stakataka because like Stakataka can't one shot it. I mean, Stakataka is faster than Lax in Trick Room, but like all I have is either gonna have Gyro Ball or like Rocky MZ. So like belly drum could very well be a thing, like for sure. Like that's one of the sets I am fearing. I'm not sure he would bring belly drum because it'd be kind of risky. But honestly, like with belly drum Lax, you don't have to run max attack. You can run like max defense and still like sweep my team. So like it's one of those things to where like I feel like he could run it. So I'm definitely fearing that the most. Excuse me, I'm still sick, so it's gonna be kind of an issue to go on this video. But yeah, another glaring thing is he has a lot of hazards. I don't have a lot of removal, so that's something that can happen too. I don't have a dark type, so the crossbow is going to be a pain to beat. But I just got to hope I can, wear it down like my Shaman or my Thundurus or something like that. So let's go ahead and open my team. A lot of team breakdown, but like I had to point out stuff like that before we get into this builder. So leading the way, we have Shelob, the Araquanid, not shiny this week. I'm not sure why I didn't make it shiny. We have Liquidation, Bug Bite, Toxic, and Sticky Web. So already off the bat, you can see we're running a bit of a different mode this week. We're running Sticky Web. And what this means is that I'm not going to be running Trick Room on this squad, so that's kind of something to note before we get into this build. But Leo's team is actually relatively kind of slow. His fastest Pokemon is, I believe, the Mega Diancie. I'm pretty sure, not Sneasel. So not the fastest stuff in the world, but then again, he's got like Zygarde, which doesn't really care about speed. Scoliped's pretty fast and gets speed boosts, but realistically, it's not really the greatest thing to, like, it's not a big deal, like, you know, to my squad. Like, I mean, it sweeps my composition, but like, I don't know how to say it. It's probably not a big deal. I don't know. I'm not saying that right, but you know, Webs is good because it helps slow down Infernape. And the most important thing is it slows down his stuff like Necrozma, his Vaporeon, his Klefki, his Serena, his potentially slower Zygarde, which can help out stuff like Hariyama and my Araquanid, or not Araquanid, but my Shaman. So that's kind of the important thing to note about that. But yeah, I mean, Bug Bite, of course, is there to eat that berry from Snorlax, potentially. And, of course, Liquidation hits everything else. And, of course, you know, Bug Bite hits the Serena as well. So, and, of course, Toxic is for the Vaporeon. So, relatively self-explanatory set. This Mon on here, it pretty much cannot die to any hit from his squad without a boost. So that's kind of the reason why we have Chardy Berry. That way we could take a Stone Edge from the, or a Diamond Storm from the Diancie. So that's kind of the reason why we opted to go with that. That way we can guaranteed get up webs no matter what. Unless he would lead with like a Taunt, you know, Taunt Sneasel, or like Taunt, I think Serena gets Taunt. No, Klefki could learn Taunt, I'm not sure. Or like, you know, lead with Diancie and just, you know, Mega Evolve and he's prevent me from getting my webs up. But if he does that, then he's gonna get killed with Liquidation. So kind of a win-win, or lose-lose for him, I should say. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good set. I mean, even if I don't get a webs, like, great, like, he doesn't have a fantastic water resist that can handle this well. Vaporeon is Toxic, and of course Serena is just, I mean, it can hit me good if it's like an offensive set. It can hit me well, but I'm sure he does not want to get anything Toxic, so I'm sure it'll be useful as a Araquanid. So hopefully it doesn't work. Next up, we have Thundurus. I'm running a Z-Fly Bulk Up Wild Charge Defog set. Now, this set's probably an interesting bring as well. You know, it's a mon that on paper, like, it beats this entire team. If I get up like 2 Bulk Ups, this thing does probably win the game if I had Superpower, but I only have Z-Fly for that Snorlax. So that's something a little bit risky about this set. That's the way my builder built it. Defog was to absolutely have a last-ditch effort against Hazard Stack, so that's the reason why we opted to go for Defog on there, because the rest of my team is grounded and they do not appreciate getting Hazard Stacked upon. And of course, Wild Charge, I take Recoil, but I absolutely needed to be able to break through his Klefki and of course stuff like Diancie and his you know, I guess Snorlax. Well, not really Snorlax, but I guess mainly those two I just mentioned. And Vaporeon, of course, as well. So, but Z-Fly is awesome and nukes everything. I believe +2 has a chance to one-shot Max Defense Necrozma. And then, like, you know, that's the reason why it's there, because Necrozma is like the one mon that can probably switch in once it realizes it's on physical. Snorlax can probably set up on this thing, but if we're gonna match curses and bulk ups, he probably can't. But the fact that I have recoil moves is not a good idea. So if we were to face again, maybe Superpower is the right play, but Defog was the play for Hazard Stack. So a little bit of a risky bring, but I trust in my builder with it, and hopefully it works out. So because if not, I'm playing to beat by Snorlax again. Next up, we have Hariyama, the Hariyama Close Combat Earthquake Knockoff Bullet Punch Guts Flame Orb. Bullet Punch, of course, is there to check Diancie and Sneasel. It one-shots them after my Guts boost. Quake, of course, is there for the Klefki. That one also goes for Close Combat. And I guess, well, yeah. And then Knockoff, of course, is for the Necrozma, although it kind of bounces off. So not the best, you know, answer to it in the world, because you could probably just, you know, Moonlight on my Knockoff, but it's all I got. I mean, Knockoff's the only move I got for that thing. And of course, CC hits everything else that doesn't resist it. So I mean, it's just a staple. Hariyama's been great. Hariyama's been great this season, and hopefully she can pick up some more kills and, you know, check that Snorlax for me, because Snorlax, I'm tired of facing that thing, man. So next up we have Mew. No fancy nickname this week. I probably should have nicknamed like Vacuum Wave or something. Dead Headbutt, Leech Life, Earthquake, Roost. Now this set was wild to me, because we didn't bring Low Kick. The original set had Low Kick on it. And we also don't have Ice Beam. So, again, this was a 100% confidence in my builder that he wasn't going to bring Zygarde. So, like, it's really risky, because Zygarde can just walls this thing and it can set up on it. So, like, I personally, going into the battle, did not like it. And you'll see into the battle why I don't like it further. So, but this was like our last-ditch effort for his Scolipede, because Scolipede with an SD probably could wreck my team. So, we just had to have something. Tango Berry, of course, weakens his Mega Horn for 1 hit. And then we can, you know, OHKO it back, depending on the spread, with an Headbutt. So, Leech Life is there, of course, to hit the Sneasel, and then the Krozma and the Serena, and then Quake, of course, is there to hit Klefki. But we're rolled by Vaporeon, we're rolled by Zygarde, we're rolled by Lax, which really scares me. And like, again, I wasn't a big fan of the set, and I hope it does work out. So that's kind of one of my fears. But I guess we'll see what happens in the battle. Next up, we have Shaymin, who hasn't shown up in a while. But we are running Seed Flare, Earth Power, Hidden Power, Fire, or Ice, I should say, and Leech Seed. Leech Seed is kind of a interesting move on there. I don't really need Leech Seed. I think maybe something like Toxic would have been useful for Snorlax or Vaporeon. Not Vaporeon, but I guess Serena, because, you know, I guess Serena would have been useful for that. Or even Zygarde, in case I didn't want to like, go for an HP Ice. Maybe expecting like a Weakness Policy or something like that. But I suppose it was there like to have something for Lax, I guess. But I mean, I feel like Toxic probably could have worked out a little bit better. But Earth Power up there, of course, hits Klefki, and Scolipede, and everything else. I mean, and Infernape, but everything else is Seed Flare spam. So that's pretty much self-explanatory there. Nothing else to say here. It's a very bulky, bit of a bulkier set, max HP to check his Zygarde, if he did bring Zygarde. Because I had to add something for it. My builder was confident it was going to come, but I had to have something for it. So, I mean, Shaymin made sense, obviously. And I'm sure he'll probably expect it to be a bulkier Shaymin. So, I do expect Infernape to come in this matchup as well. And, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. And finally, we have Kurama, the Ninetales, running Freeze Dry, Moonblast, Encore, Orville I haven't really used too much all season, but it's just useful because Kurama has a pretty okay matchup offensively because Freeze Dry hits his Vaporeon for decent damage. Moonblast is nice for his, it's I believe my speed tie was 8, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know the speed tier on that. I'm kind of garbage when it comes to speed tiers. I don't know why I don't do this kind of things. Let me check it out real quick. I feel like we do speed tie, but not that it would really matter, but like, yeah, I might be faster by a point, though. I'm not even sure. Let me check this out real quick. I am faster by 1 point, so I do have the speed to outrun that Infernape and hit it with a Moonblast before it does anything to me. So that's pretty cool. And of course, Encore is there to check a Snorlax and Krozma if they are set up variants. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much the squad here. A bit of a riskier bring, but I mean, a lot of the sets like the Thundurus, the Hairy Mama, and potentially even the Araquanid can do some work, and probably unexpected work to Leo as I can hope. So without all that being said, of course, thank you to Aaron Barden once again. Again, he's bad at Mons, but he's good at building. So let's go ahead and jump into the actual battle now. Okay, sorry about that break real quick. My stupid sound went off or something like that, so I don't know what happened. But anyways, back to the preview here. As we can tell, he does have the Scolipede, Sneasel, Serena, Lax, the Krozma, and the Klefki. So a couple of notes just to begin before we start. So my builder was indeed correct about the Zygarde not coming, which was kind of risky because, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of agree with him, like, why it shouldn't come. But at the same time, like, if I got that wrong, I was pretty much in trouble. I mean, you know, the only set I probably could have done work was, like, Dragon Dance, because if he was banded, Ninetales could always revenge. Shaymin could always come in after 1,000 arrows. And, like, you know, it was kind of risky on his end. The only way he was probably going to be useful with it is if he had a Dragon Dance, or I guess Coil could have worked as well. But Dragon Dance probably was the only realistic way of it doing work to outrun Ninetales and Thundurus. So, you know, I guess a good call on his end. No Infernape, which does surprise me a little bit. I could definitely see his reasoning for it not coming, because I have stuff like Mew. Araquanid kind of walls it as well. He doesn't have Edge or T-Punch. You know, I mean, Thundurus is obviously there. Scarf Infernape probably isn't making the most sense in the world, given that I have a Cofagrigus, I have Sakataka, and stuff like that could take advantage of it, like for a free lock-in turn. Stack isn't a great example, but stuff like Mew, stuff like, you know, Araquanid. Because, like, Scarf Infernape is always going to click, like, his dual stab, so, like, Stone Edge and Thunder Punch probably won't come. I mean, Stone Edge probably could come, I guess, but, like, I don't know. So I guess that probably wasn't, you know, the biggest surprise, thinking about it now, at least in post-game. Of course, Lax is there, so that's annoying. But we can see from his team, he's got Klefki and Scolipede, so upon battling, I can probably tell he's probably going to be having a Hatchet Stack, which is annoying to face. Sneasel's definitely going to be a big threat if I don't get up webs, so I do have to be sure I get up webs. And his only potential way to get rid of it, he's got two ways to get rid of it, either Default Klefki or Rapid Spin Serena. I didn't bring Kofak to spin block, which is going to be annoying, but if I can prevent a spin, I can be pretty nice. I know he's definitely not going to defog because, you know, he's got Hazard Stack of his own. So unless he does value getting rid of it before he gets rid of his spikes. but it looks like he probably will have Rapid Spin. If he doesn't even have it, he might not even have it because, you know, he probably doesn't expect me to bring hazards because I haven't brought hazards all season long. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But I figured my best possible lead was the Araquanid because it matched up well against most of his squad, bar his Serena. I mean, Serena not really, but you know, it kind of matched up with everything, sort of, you know. So he does leave Scolipede here. So we're definitely going to expect some sort of hazard stack on my end here. So I figured getting up webs immediately was the greatest, you know, greatest thing for me. So he just go for his T-Spike. So we already see his game plan from turn 1. He wants to hazard stack. He wants to win with probably his Sneasel, or I guess his Lax, and wear down my walls or something like that. So, you know, it gets a speed boost here. So we do see speed boost. Big surprise, right? So here, I figured, you know, just going for that liquidation was the best play because he didn't really have a good switch into this thing. And even though I'm not adamant nature, this is still going to hurt because I have Water Bubble. And if he brings in Serena, I could probably just, you know, Toxic after, or just go straight for a Bug Bite in case he has some sort of, like, you know, Yachi Berry or something like that. So that's always cool. So here he goes for the jab because he doesn't want to probably miss and not risk not, you know, shield, not taking damage. So good call on his end, going for the jab. So that's always good on his end. So we do actually end up knocking out his Scolipede turn 2, which is pretty crazy given how big of a threat I thought it would be, given and you know, in pregame and all that sort of thing. So it does bring in Sneasel because Sneasel is probably the only, you know, reliable way to revenge kill at this point, especially with webs are up. So it does go for the knockoff. Do let my Araquanid go down. Probably didn't have to do that, but I really didn't want anything else to get a knockoff. So best play for me, I figured. So I do go into Chroma here because this is the only reliable way I can revenge kill. I probably could have went into Harry Mama and went straight for a Bullet Punch, but wasn't the biggest deal in the world for me. So here, I do kind of expect him to go either into Klefki or into Snorlax, but he does opt to go into his Klefki, which is good for me because I don't want Lax coming in here. I don't want to reveal Encore just yet. So I guess Klefki's probably going to come in here to go for like a Flash Cannon or potentially to start setting up more spikes. So here, I figured this was the best time for me to go into Thundurus. Now, it took a long time before I made this play because Thundurus is a legitimate win con at this point because of how well it can destroy his team if I'm able to get some bulk up. So I ate Flash Cannon out pretty well. Excuse me. Spikes, obviously, I don't care about spikes. I'm in the air, so I do go hard Thundurus. Bit of a risky play, but it's a Klefki. What's it going to do? Go for spikes, and here I said, you know what, screw it, man. It's Leo. Got to play aggressive. I go for the bulk up right here. Taking some hail damage, not really what I want to take, but we don't really know much about this Klefki yet. It could be Spadef or defensive. We don't know. I'm kind of hoping it's Spadef. That way I can deal with it a little bit easier with my Thundurus. So I do go straight for the bulk up here, as he goes hard into his Serena. Probably expecting me to be like in a spec set or, you know, nasty ply, and I figured he probably had an assault vest on this thing to take some shots from me. But going for bulk up, he probably just realized that now I am physical, obviously. So, and Serena, if it ever came in either, like, I would always go hard Thundurus because if he had play rough or drop kick, the attack drop would help me out. So I was pretty happy to see Serena in preview. So I do decide to go first here for a hard fly because I don't want to burn my Z move on this thing. I could probably save it for his Lax or his Necrozma. So I do go for the hard fly as he attempts to go for the rapid spin, which is pretty huge because now I could really just get a free fly off on somebody, and he does opt to sack off his Serena. So he cannot get rid of webs, which is huge for me. Now my stuff like Harry Mama and Shaman could take advantage of his Necrozma, his Klefki, and potentially Sneasel with my Mew and my Shaman. So that's pretty awesome for me. So now he goes into his Necrozma, and here I probably could have made a read. I probably could have expected him to go into his Klefki, but I'm playing Leo. I can't make stupid plays like that. So then again, he is very aggressive, so I definitely should have probably went for another bulk up there. So I do make a misplay. Do end up going straight for my Z fly here. You know, bulk up probably would have been the play, but if you had went for something like Psychic, I don't know what his set could have been. He could have had Power Gem for all I knew, so like I didn't want to risk it. So I didn't went for Super Sonic Sky Strike. Bulk up, going for bulk up there probably, honestly, would have probably won me the game on the spot because I would have just had to wild charge there, probably knock out his Klefki, and then from there burn his Z move on either Necrozma or Lax. But you know, he probably could have made a nice play and doubled back into his Sneasel to sack it off. But now we're at a bit of an interesting situation. So I do go for the wild charge, knock out his Klefki. So Thundurus is proving to be a big threat, man. Already picking up 2 kills early on. So now he's got 3 Mons. I got 5 Mons. Looking pretty good for me. But 2 of those 3 are very dangerous setup sweepers. So this game is by far not over yet, especially with the damn Lax running around, man. I hate Lax so much. So and he does have a spike up NT spike, so that's kind of annoying. 2 spikes I think he actually has up. I'm not sure. But I do go for the Wild Charge as he does off the Sidekick. Wild Charge at +1 doesn't even 2-shot, so we know for sure this man is definitely like max defense. So here, I do make a little bit of a read here. Knowing that he probably does have Moonlight, I'll have to go for the bulk up, expecting him to go for Moonlight on my Wild Charge. So we are at +2 now, as he does actually make the the play and goes for Moonlight. Now here, I think I made a bit of a misplay here, although thinking about it more, it probably wasn't a misplay because of what could have happened in the long run. So I do end up going for Wild Charge. Now I probably could have made another read and bulked up, but if I didn't get damage on this thing before I went down, I would have been really angry. So I stand by the play, but if I went for Fly there, Fly on Moonlight, he would have to make a decision after that. Either take the Fly and just kill me, or take the Fly and just recover, but that would pretty much just neutralize everything that happened in that turn. But at some point, if I had went for Fly and he kept making those mind games, he probably could have got up a couple of Calm Minds. So maybe it was better off me just going for the damage and just sacking off my Thunders to get a free swap. So don't have the best switch in right now for this thing. The best thing I could do is go to my Kurama and go for a Moonblast. He's probably expecting me to have carry something like Toxic or anything weird like that. So I go straight for Moonblast as he goes right into Bam Bam. Man, I hate Bam Bam so much. So yeah, I mean, I go for Moonblast, or I go for Veil, I'm sorry, because I figured he was probably going to switch, or just go for an attack. I'm not sure why I went for Veil, to be honest. Moonblast probably was the play, so I do go for the Veil, take some Hail, and I know probably this is the only opportunity I'm going to have to stop his Snorlax, so I'm kind of hoping he doesn't go for a Facade. But if he goes for Facade, it's not a big deal, because I go into Lax, and going to Hardy, I'm going to get some kills, so I do go for Moonblast, does no damage. I thought it was vested, but he's just that fat. As he goes for Curse, and I am not worried about Curse, because I do have my Encore, so I can go for Encore right here and shut down this Snorlax pretty damn well and pretty much force him to swap at that point. At least I think so. So I do go for the Encore, and I go hard Yama after this. So as you see, Encore is going in on Lax. He's got to curse up again. So he's going to be at +2 defense right here. +2 defense. So Hail's wearing him down a little bit. He has no leftovers. He obviously has a 50% berry, obviously. Part of me thought he probably could have had immunity plus his 50% berry because, Gluttony isn't all that important unless you wanted to run Belly Drum, especially in these circumstances given how Lax is so fat. So that was in the back of my head a little bit. So he may or may not have had Gluttony in this situation. So I go hard Harry Mama here. Don't need for my Flame Orb. I got poison to get off my guts. So now Lax is at +3, which is a little bit annoying. I'm at +1 attack essentially. So essentially, he's only at +2 defense because of my guts boost. So here, he's got one more turn of Encore. This is the final turn of Encore here. So I probably could have risked a Biscuit and went for close combat and hope I get KO'd. But I don't want to risk him living. I got to knock off that berry. That way he can't recover. So I do knock off. It does a little bit of damage there. So we do knock off the Figgy Berry. So now he's at +4. Essentially at +3 defense given my guts boost. So now it's the moment of truth. If I can't kill... even if I couldn't kill a Snorlax, I could have revenge killed it, but I needed to make sure I killed this Snorlax in close combat, so gotta rely on Harry Mama. It's stab, it's super effective, it's base 120, so, I believe in Harry Mama. I go out for the close combat, essentially a +3 defense boosted Lax does go down to the close combat, so we finally knock out the stupid Snorlax, man, and it was pretty easy, so we did, even though we sacked off, one of our Lax checks, and Araquanid, we do knock it out with Harry Mama, which is awesome, so... Now, the greatest thing about this is Harry Mama can do some more damage because of webs. So, yeah, I'm a bit of a faster Harry Mama, as you can tell by my HP stat. So he goes into his Necrozma here. I can go for a nice +1 knockoff to his Necrozma. Does, no damage because Necrozma is obviously max defense. But getting rid of his leftovers is nice. He does go for the Calm Mind here. And, Calm Mind is fine with me because I can always just Encore on the spot. He can't Moonlight because if he Moonlights, I go into my... if you were to spam Calm Mind and Moonlight, I just go into Ninetales and go for Encore. So there's it's an endless cycle. Although there probably could have been an out if he had stalled out my Toxic, so that probably could have been a way, maybe. I don't know. But maybe there's a way. Maybe there's something I'm forgetting about. But anyway, so goes for Psychic, has to kill me because Encore could be a thing. So I go into Mew here, and at this point Mew does win the game because Necrozma's low. I got Leech Life for Sneasel and Necrozma. Taking some damage doesn't really matter though. Necrozma is very, very low. Leech Life does pick up the KO on Necrozma. Nice Mew kill right there. Mew's picking up some nice late season kills. Mew is definitely on the rise for the MVP race. And then finally there is the Sneasel. And of course with the webs, my Mew will be able to outrun and one shot with the Leech Life. At least I hope it did. I wasn't sure if it was going to knock out, but it's a Sneasel, so probably will knock out because it's base 80, times 2, it's base 160 on max attack, near max attack Mew. So do go for the Leech Life, and we do in fact knock out the Sneasel, taking the somewhat solid 3-0 victory against Leo. So we finally got our win, got our revenge, I guess. Not really, he got a title anyway. So good games, Leo, of course. Finally nice to get a win off him, breaking that kind of curse I may or may not have had against him. So of course, great game. Of course, some misplays by Thunderous. I feel like my weird build definitely helped me because I'm not gonna be able to outplay Leo. I'll admit that right now. I can't outplay Leo, dude. Like I would have to be on my top game, like focus, like to outplay him. But like I could probably beat him with build. That's the only one I'm gonna be able to beat him. Like honestly, so the build was solid. Bit of a riskier bring, but it ended up working out just given what he brought. Like he brought his slow setup sweepers, which does in theory work out, I guess. But with my Ninetales being able to support, and with webs being able to slow them down for my my beefier trick room sweepers to be able to do some more damage, that was pretty useful. Ultimately, Ninetales was the only mon I saved in my life because if I didn't have Encore, Alax probably could have just killed me throughout the game. So that was a huge save. So at the end there with like the Necrozma Calm Mind potential, I don't think there was a way out. There probably could have been a way out, but I don't think so because I would have been able to wear him down a little bit depending on what move he stalled himself into. Moonlight, Moonlight wouldn't have been able to help him out because he doesn't have many Moonlights. He only has 8 Moonlights, I think. So I think it would have been okay. I'm pretty sure because I'd probably have to Encore and then sack something off and then bring Ninetales back in or something like that. I'm not sure how it would have worked out, but nonetheless, we got the win. So the Rangers do move to 7-2 on the season, which is fantastic. So we only have 3 weeks left remaining in the season, which is nice. We did have a little bit of a rough patch in the middle, but now we're moving along nicely. Next week we have Chabry, coach of the Kentucky Typhlosions. Looking forward to this matchup because this man always brings wild stuff. You guys don't know him that much, I'm sure, but he is wild, man. This guy is I think he's underrated, man. Like he's very good at battling. He knows what he's doing. He may come across as a goofy guy who doesn't really care about what happens, but man, he's good, and I can't take him lightly. He's got some like crazy range stuff, and yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back next week for week number 10 of the Pokemon Global Battle League. I'll see y'all then. Go Rangers.